UFC Fight Night 184. We got Volkov versus Overeem. This is my quick prelim video for the card. So the first fight on the prelim, we got Osborne versus Denise Bondar. So with Osborne, we know we're getting a good striker. He fights long. This is a bantamweight fight. But yeah, we know with Osborne, he fights long. He's looking for the knockout. His last 6 fights all ended in the first round. All of Bondar's wins have come by finish. So we know Bondar is trying to finish these fights. In this fight, we're looking at Osborne. I believe he has a striking edge. He moves around the ring well, good kicks, good punches. He has a good triangle off his back. Bondar a bit more well-rounded. He has stand-up, serviceable stand-up to fight Odie in that area. But I think he has a big grappling advantage. And I think if he utilizes his wrestling, I think that's a way he can win this fight. And plus, he's looking to finish these fights. Osborne has been finished previously, so I think this is a good spot here for Bondar. I think Odie is a live dog because if he can keep this fight standing, he is an explosive striker that can definitely cause Bondar some problems. But I'm going to go with Bondar here, surviving the stand-up portion and eventually getting this fight here to the ground where he has a nice advantage. The next fight we have is Devonte Smith versus Alex de Silva. Alex de Silva, jiu-jitsu fighter. He has decent stand-up. In this fight, I believe he's not going to have the better stand-up in this fight. I believe that Smith is going to have the better stand-up. But I think De Silva has a big advantage on the ground if he's able to get him on the ground and keep him there. I'm not sure he's going to be able to keep him there for that long of a period of time. This is a close fight, literally 50-50. As you know, Smith's last 5 fights all ended in the first round, KO, and 20 of De Silva's wins have come by finish. So both of these guys are looking to finish this fight. Smith has never gone to decision, so that's a bit concerning. But I think Smith is going to keep this standing enough to win this fight here. His stand-up is much better than De Silva, and if De Silva gets the takedowns and he can't keep him there, all Devonte Smith needs is a minute or two to swing that round back to his side. And plus, he has the ability to knock you out in that, as his stats indicate, right? So he has a last 5 fights all ended in the first round, right? So by KO. So he's definitely live to do so here again. And I like Devonte Smith in this spot. So I'm going to go with Devonte Smith to win that match. Next fight on the prelim, we got Rosa versus Jocelyn Edwards. Let's start with Jocelyn Edwards. Fairly new fighter. She had a good debut in her last fight in the UFC. She fought the Asian fighter. I forgot her name. Yanan Wu. I forgot her name. Let's pull it up. Let's get that name. So Jocelyn Edwards, her last fight, she fought Yanan Wu. Yeah, so Yanan Wu. So in that fight, she was able to be the better striker. She's athletic, so she is quick as well. She's a bit green, though, in the striking area. She will have the height advantage in this fight and the reach advantage. But she's going to be fighting a girl that I think is a bit stronger, physically stronger, and in Rosa. Rosa is a very consistent fighter, chops the legs, has good hands, very durable. I think she's going to have a bit too much power for Edwards. Again, Edwards is definitely live, but I think this is a step too high up here. And I like Rosa to win that fight here. I think she can win on the ground. I think she can muscle her on the ground, and I believe she can also beat her in the stand-up. I can see Edwards winning that first round, but after the first round, when she slows down, Rosa has that steady pace to keep it going for 3 rounds. So I like Rosa in that spot. Let's go to the next fight. All right, we got Mike Rodriguez versus Danilo Marques. Okay, so in this fight, I think it could be a trap fight. Mike Rodriguez should win. He's a far more dangerous striker, and he's getting a bit more better in these grappling exchanges. Not saying he's winning these exchanges, but he's making it more difficult for grapplers to hold him on the ground. I think Marques can win because he's the kryptonite for Rodriguez, a grappler who likes to take you down and has good jiu-jitsu. So this is a fight that Mike can definitely lose. Danilo has a clear path to win this. But I like Mike Rodriguez here. Keeps his standing. He's the younger fighter, longer reach, keeps his standing, and his hands are too much here. His knees are too much, and he should be able to get a knockout against Danilo Marques. So I'm gonna go with Mike Rodriguez. Next fight, let's speed this on. We got Seung Choi. Actually, this fight has been canceled. Seung Choi is now fighting Zalal, Youssef Zalal. So with Youssef Zalal, we know we're getting a decent striker, well-rounded. He has grappling as well, good wrestling, so he can wrestle, and he has cardio. He can wrestle in the third round. With Seung Choi, we're getting a really good stand-up striker, a Muay Thai, a Korean Muay Thai fighter, a Thai style fighter, leg kicks, hands, very quick, powerful. He definitely is a live dog. I think he has a better striking, but I think Zalal is going to mix it up here and utilize that grappling and pretty much win the decision that way. So I like Zalal Youssef in that spot. Let's go back to the card. We got Molly McCann versus Lara Procópio. Make this quick. Lara Procópio. She's looking to. She has submissions. She has okay stand up. I like Molly McCann in this spot. I think she has a better wrestling. This is a step down for Molly, and I think Molly has a more well-rounded game with the striking as well. Laura is definitely a live dog, but I like Molly in this spot to get this win, get back in the win column. And we got Clay Guida versus Michael Johnson. Both these guys, we know what we're getting. Clay Guida, constant wrestling, heavy pressure. But he hasn't been looking good lately. 6 of Guida's last 7 wins have come by decision. Johnson has lost his last 4 fights at 155. But you got to look at those last 4 fights. He was winning some of them and little slips, right? So I actually like Michael Johnson in this spot. I think he has more left here. Michael Johnson, his last fights, even when he's losing his fights against Thiago Moses, he was lighting him up. Even when he was losing, even when he lost that fight to the heavy-handed guy. Let me get his name. Yeah, he was winning. He was beating this guy up, man. He was beating up this guy, and then this guy knocked him out in the 3rd round. His Josh Emmett. So he was beating him up, and then he lost in the 3rd round. So by knockout. So he's looking good in these fights. Like he beat Andre Feely. He was beating up Darren Elkins, and then he got caught. That's another fight, and he was beating up Justin Gaethje, and then Jake Gaethje obviously turned the corner and crushed him. So what I'm trying to say is I think he has more left at this point than Clay Guida. I think he's gonna be the better fighter. I think he avoids some of these takedowns, and I think the stand-up edge is too big of a gap. So I'm gonna go with Michael Johnson. But again, Clay Guida has a clear path with that relentless pace. If he can hold Michael on the ground, then Michael's in trouble. But I'm gonna bank on Michael keeping this on the feet enough and to style on him. So I got Michael Johnson in that fight. All right, so that's my prelim picks for this card. Stay tuned. I'm going to have the main event picks coming up. Let's get the bag, guys.